The first shot was never fired. Not because the humans hesitated. Because Captain Elena Ward was waiting. The pale creatures stood beyond the shattered bunker entrance, hundreds of shifting figures woven from white threads and shimmering mist. They did not charge. They simply watched. Studied. Learned. The eerie chorus filled every corridor beneath the colony. We remember you. We understand you. You will join us. Lieutenant Kalen pressed both hands against his ears. The voices ignored them. They spoke directly into his thoughts. Every painful memory. Every fear. Every regret. They searched through them with terrifying patience. Captain Ward remained perfectly still. Everyone, she said calmly. Don't answer it. Governor Celera looked confused. Answer, what? The conversation. Cross nodded immediately. It's trying to establish a connection. The governor blinked. You can refuse? Ward looked at the approaching entity. You'd be surprised what humans can ignore. Without warning, one of the creatures lunged. It moved faster than anything Kalen had ever seen. A pale ribbon shot across the corridor. Sergeant Cross fired. The thunder of the human rifle echoed through the bunker. The creature exploded into glowing fragments. But instead of dying, the fragments flowed back together. Reforming. Learning. It's adapting, shouted Brooks. Ward watched carefully. No. It already adapted. It wanted us to waste ammunition. Another creature attacked. This time, no one fired. Cross stepped sideways. The entity slammed into reinforced steel. Its body rippled violently. For one brief second, its shape became unstable. Ward smiled. There. She pointed. It can't change direction instantly. Cross understood immediately. So it's committed once it attacks. Exactly. The Marines repositioned. Now they weren't fighting. They were studying. Every movement. Every weakness. Every mistake. The creatures had expected prey. Instead, they found hunters. High above Erebus 17. The HFS Vanguard completed its final orbital scan. Science Officer Nora Chen stared at the display. Captain. We found the center. Ward's communicator activated. Show me. A massive hologram appeared. Deep beneath the eastern mountains. One enormous biological structure pulsed beneath the crust. Every smaller creature connected to it. Like branches connected to a single root. Kalen stared. It's one organism. Chen nodded. The things attacking you aren't individuals. They're extensions. Ward looked toward the ceiling. So we don't fight the branches. We remove the root. On the bridge of the Vanguard, alarms echoed across every station. Weapons Officer Daniel Ruiz turned toward the captain's empty chair. Orbital lance charging. 30%. 40. 50. The bridge lights dimmed as unimaginable amounts of power flowed into the dreadnought's primary weapon. Outside, gigantic energy conduits glowed across the ship's armored hull. Even nearby stars seemed dim beside the growing light. Back in the bunker, the hollow echo stopped advancing. Every pale figure froze. Then, they all turned upward, as though sensing something in orbit. Captain Ward noticed immediately. It feels the ship. Kalen looked confused. Can it reach orbit? Ward answered honestly. We're about to find out. The colony shook violently. Buildings above them collapsed. Dust filled the bunker. The pale creatures withdrew into the walls. Not retreating. Climbing. Thousands of white strands surged upward through the colony. Toward space. Toward the HFS Vanguard. Captain. Science Officer Chen's voice became urgent. The organism is leaving the planet. What? It's launching biological structures through the atmosphere. Ruiz looked at the tactical display. Hull impact in 8 seconds. Outside. The sky split open. Massive white tendrils erupted from the surface of Erebus 17. Each stretched kilometers into the sky. They twisted together into enormous living cables racing toward orbit. Kalen watched through the bunker entrance in disbelief. It can reach space. Ward nodded once. It learned. The first tendril struck the Vanguard's outer armor. Not with force. With curiosity. Thousands of tiny threads spread across the dreadnought's hull. Searching. Listening. Feeling every vibration. Every electrical pulse. Every heartbeat aboard the ship. Bridge alarms screamed. Hull contact. Life support sensors compromised. External cameras failing. Chen looked horrified. It's reading the ship. Ward pressed her communicator. Ruiz. Ready, Captain. Don't fire the orbital lance. Silence. Kalen stared. What? Ward's eyes remained fixed on the spreading organism. It wants us to. Cross frowned. You think it's baiting us? Ward nodded. It wants one enormous energy release. So it can study it. The bridge fell silent. Ruiz slowly canceled the firing sequence. Orbital lance standing by. The white organism continued spreading. It believed it had one. Marcus Hale burst onto the bridge carrying a portable engineering console. I've got something. Chen looked over. What? Marcus grinned. It keeps reading electrical activity. So let's give it something to read. Ward immediately understood. The discharge grid. Marcus nodded. The emergency hull capacitors. Kalen looked between them. I don't understand. Marcus smiled. It expects information. We're giving it lightning. Every engineer aboard the Vanguard sprinted into motion. Power rerouted. Capacitors overloaded. Emergency grounding systems disconnected. The entire dreadnought became one enormous electrical trap. Ruiz looked toward engineering. Ready? Marcus' voice echoed through the ship. Almost. Almost. Now. A blinding surge erupted across the Vanguard's armored hull. Not outward. Across it. Millions of volts raced through the outer plating. The white organism convulsed. Every tendril flashed brilliant blue. The haunting chorus transformed into something Kalen never imagined possible. Pain. The creature screamed. Not with sound. With thought. Every mind on the planet heard it. Impossible. The tendrils recoiled violently. Ward didn't hesitate. Ruiz. Fire. The orbital lance awakened. For one breathtaking instant. Night became day. A single pillar of white light descended from orbit. It pierced the atmosphere without slowing. Clouds evaporated. Mountains glowed. The beam struck the eastern range exactly where the organism's central mass lay hidden. The ground disappeared. A silent flash expanded across the valley. Then, everything stopped. The song vanished. Completely. No whispers. No pressure. No voices. Only silence. Real silence. For the first time in days, Erebus 17 was quiet. Kalen slowly lowered his hands. It's over. Captain Ward didn't answer. She watched the tactical display. 1 minute passed. Then another. No movement. No biological signals. No song. Science Officer Chen finally spoke. "Captain. The colony is clear." The Marines relaxed for the first time since landing. Governor Celera collapsed into tears. Children began crying. Not from fear. From relief. Captain Ward remained standing, looking toward the mountains, as if waiting for something. Kalen noticed. "You don't think it's finished?" Ward answered quietly. "I've learned something." "What?" She looked toward the stars. Predators rarely hunt alone. Far beyond Erebus 17. Deep inside the darkness between the stars. A faint white signal awakened. Another. Then another. Across unimaginable distances. Unknown minds answered. The war had not ended. Humanity had just announced its existence. The silence lasted exactly 42 seconds. Then the bridge of the HFS Vanguard erupted into activity. "Captain. Full spectrum scan complete. No active biological signatures detected on Erebus 17. Science Officer Nora Chen looked over the final sensor report twice before speaking again. "The hollow echo is gone." Captain Elena Ward didn't celebrate. "Run the scan again." 5 minutes later. The answer remained the same. Nothing. No hidden organisms. No underground movement. No strange harmonic frequencies. The colony was finally free. Only then did Ward allow herself a slow breath. Begin recovery operations. Dropships descended across Erebus 17 throughout the day. Medical teams evacuated the injured. Engineers restored damaged infrastructure. Supply drones delivered food, medicine, and portable shelters. For the first time in nearly a week, the colony looked alive again. Children laughed. Families reunited. Lights remained on because people, not monsters, still lived beneath them. Governor Celera stood outside the emergency command center watching human engineers rebuild an entire power station. She turned toward Kalen. "I spent 3 days believing no one was coming." Kalen smiled softly. "So did I." Later that evening, the survivors gathered in the colony square. No speeches had been planned. No ceremony had been organized. People simply came. Humans. Citizens of the Orion Accord. Rescue workers. Children. Everyone stood together beneath the evening sky. Governor Celera stepped forward. She looked at Captain Ward. "You counted us." Ward nodded. "I did." "You knew exactly how many were missing." "I always count." Celera's voice trembled. "Most governments count buildings. You counted lives." For the first time. Captain Ward smiled. "They're the only numbers that matter." 3 weeks later, the High Council of the Orion Accord assembled on the capital world of Asterion Prime. Representatives from dozens of civilizations filled the enormous chamber. Lieutenant Kalen stood before them as the official observer of the Erebus 17 operation. He had rewritten his report 11 times. Each version felt incomplete, because facts alone could not explain what had happened. The council chair addressed him. "Lieutenant, in your professional opinion, did Captain Elena Ward violate Accord protocol?" Kalen looked down at his report. Then back at the council. "Yes." Whispers spread across the chamber. The chair nodded. "And were those violations justified?" Kalen took a long breath. "I believed protocol existed to save lives." He paused. "Now I understand. Sometimes, saving lives requires acting before protocol catches up." The chamber fell silent. Captain Ward was called next. She stood alone before the council. No lawyer. No political advisor. No prepared statement. The chair asked a single question. Captain, if placed in the same situation again, would you make the same decision? Ward answered without hesitation. Yes. You understand you may lose your command? Yes. You may face permanent sanctions. Yes. The chair leaned forward. Why? Ward's answer echoed across the chamber. Because 478 people trusted someone would come. My responsibility wasn't protecting my career. It was making sure they lived long enough to have one. No one spoke. There was nothing left to ask. The council deliberated for 6 hours. News of the hearing spread across the Orion Accord. Entire colonies waited for the verdict. Military commanders, scientists, rescue organizations. Every one of them wanted to know the same thing. Had humanity gone too far? Or not far enough? At sunset, the council returned. The chair stood. The human vessel HFS Vanguard is formally censured for unauthorized military deployment. The chamber remains silent. The censure will remain on record. Another pause. However, the entire hall looked up. The council unanimously recognizes that existing rescue protocols proved inadequate against previously unknown existential threats. Murmurs spread across the audience. The chair continued. Effective immediately. The Orion Accord establishes the Rapid Response Defense Initiative. Mixed humanitarian and military task forces would now respond together whenever unexplained colony disappearances occurred. Unknown threats would no longer be met with unarmed rescue ships alone. Human tactical doctrine would become required reading throughout the Accord. The Hollow Echo would receive the highest possible threat classification. And Captain Elena Ward's complete combat analysis would be distributed to every fleet in known space. Outside the council chamber, Kalen found Captain Ward standing quietly beneath a balcony overlooking Asterion Prime. You won, he said. Ward looked at the distant skyline. No. We learned. Kalen smiled. I've submitted a transfer request. She raised an eyebrow. To where? Your ship. Ward looked genuinely surprised. You're a diplomat. I know. You'll spend months in deep space. I know. You'll probably see worse things than Erebus 17. Kayla nodded. I know. Ward studied him for a long moment. Then she smiled. We could use another diplomat. 3 months later, the HFS Vanguard departed Asterion Prime. Its crew had grown. Scientists from 6 civilizations came aboard. Medical specialists volunteered for long-range deployments. Engineers from across the Accord requested assignments. Even former critics now admitted a simple truth. Hope alone could not stop monsters. Someone had to stand between civilization and the darkness. Humanity had chosen to be that shield. Far beyond explored space, where no star charts reached, a faint pulse crossed the void. Another answered. Then another. Ancient minds awakened. Silent civilizations stirred. Across impossible distances, something remembered the destruction of the Hollow Echo. Something noticed the species responsible. A thought spread through the darkness. The firebearers have returned. Watch them. They will come. On the bridge of the HFS Vanguard, Captain Elena Ward stood before the stars. The crew prepared for another patrol. Another unknown mission. Another world that might someday need help. She looked at the endless darkness ahead and spoke quietly. Set course. The engines ignited. The great dreadnought disappeared into faster-than-light travel, carrying with it not only weapons and soldiers, but hope. Because in a galaxy filled with things that hunted the helpless, there would always be one ship willing to answer the call, no matter the cost.